Sorry, I love this disclosure. This podcast was filmed on the 8th of the 8th of July in 2025. Any current events that occurred afterward obviously will not be covered. Yeah, what about all the stuff before that?
This is fucking nuts.
This
dude.
is so crazy. We are so not qualified to do this.
No.
That's what's interesting about this.
Haha, interesting.
We're just not. We just should not be doing this.
Well, we're too far too gone.
Here we have the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. He's about to walk into the podcast right now. This is probably one of the most, if not the most controversial podcast we
For sure the most
have
we've
ever done.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe not the most controversial we'll ever do.
Maybe not.
But
maybe though.
I mean, this issue is just like, and by the way, I want to say too, I'm not claiming to be an expert on this issue or anything like that. I've kind of just probably like a lot of you guys that, you know, you read stuff online. And I feel like on the internet now too, it's like you don't even know what's real anymore. Like you read shit and it's like you see a headline and it's like, is this true? Is this not true? So I see so much stuff about, you know.
Bro, why did you point out how bad this suit looks? Now I can't unsee it. Why is the collar over the blazer?
What's going on in Israel and, you know, Iran and Palestine. And to be honest, I just really don't know what is going on there. So it's going to be interesting to sit down with Prime Minister Netanyahu and kind of just ask him some questions about what we read online and
get educated.
Probably going to be a lot of hate in the comments and stuff like that. In my opinion, I mean, dude,
we're journalists, right?
I mean, we're technically journalists.
How can you pass up this opportunity at the end of the day?
No.
If these guys are journalists, dude, I should be running the fucking Fed.
And plus, at the end of the day, it's like we get the opportunity to sit down with one of the most powerful people in the world, a world leader.
Yeah.
And we get to ask him some stuff. And we're going to ask him what we want to ask him too. So if you guys, you know, want to hear shit, whatever questions you guys want to hear, there's probably a ton of other interviews of him on CNN or like, you know, typical news stuff. We're going to ask him what we want to ask him. So to me, this is crazy. Like, how far we've come and we're get to sit down with world leaders.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. So
yeah.
The other crazy thing is like there are actual show hosts and podcast hosts and there's people in general who don't call themselves journalists that do a lot of journalistic work. Like I don't think Emma Vigeland or Sam Cedar call themselves journalists, right? I could be mistaken, but I don't believe that they call themselves journalists. I think they just mostly say that they're going to be doing an interview with someone, that they're bringing someone on, whatever. Oh, yeah, Hassan is another good example. And those are people who actually do not staged interviews. And they just call themselves political commentators or pundits. Calling yourself a journalist when you're just bringing on Hitler to talk about his Hitler actions and then saying, we're just trying to learn more.
I mean, for any backlash, this is just an opportunity, again, you can't really pass up. I don't see it. Like, there's no one else doing this.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll sit down with any world leader in the world.
I agree.
I mean, my dream guest is Kim Jong-un.
Both of
Kim
ours.
Jong-un, if you're watching this.
This is kind of
like to come to North Korea.
The reason why, sorry, I was muted. The reason why Kim Jong-un might actually be worthwhile to interview is because there hasn't been an interview with Kim Jong-un. And it's not like there are a lot of public statements that we hear about from Kim Jong-un. That would be way more interesting. Again, because we don't hear any public statements from North Korea really ever. I don't think most people in here have ever even seen Kim Jong-un talk for more than like 5 minutes, maybe. Whereas we've already seen more than enough statements from Netanyahu and from Netanyahu's staff and from IDF members excitedly cheering on the genocide.
And interview you
All I
as
could think about is the interview when we're doing
I'm
this.
so down to pull up to Moscow and interview Putin too.
Yeah. We'll do everybody.
This is what sets off podcasts. You could put a small microphone here, but no, you have to see this thing, right?
Yeah. Prime Minister Netanyahu with us today. We're here in the Blair House.
Yep.
Right? Is this the White House grounds?
Close.
Close.
It's the sort of the official guest house of the United States.
How have you seen like the White House and stuff? Like, how has it evolved over the years, over the times of you visiting it?
I've met quite a few of the American presidents because I've been in office pretty long time. Not because we don't have elections, but because I've won quite a few of them, okay? I think there's never been a friend like Donald Trump in the
Saying this now after like the news cycle has done nothing but focus in on the Epstein story for like 2 weeks straight is really funny though.
in
In
the White House for
hindsight,
Israel.
is really funny.
I think he's a remarkable leader. I think he's changing history. He said he'll make America great again. He's already done it. You know, America is widely admired now around the world, and especially after our joint operation against this regime that
Well, that can't be true considering that other countries have put travel advisory warnings on going to the United States.
wanted to, chance death to America, death to Israel. Well, I think together we've shown the world a different face of America. Very powerful, very directed, very resolute.
You guys are very tight, right? Would you call it a bromance?
Well, you might. I mean, we've known each other several decades, and I really like him.
What do you like most about him?
If you meet him close up, and Sarah and I have had this opportunity many times, including last night in a great dinner we had at the White House. First of all, Donald Trump can be very funny.
Of
You know?
course.
Oh, I didn't know. Donald Trump can be funny. Well, why didn't you say so? Well, that makes his trafficking of underage girls and his comments and his destruction of all regulations in this country and, his deportations, his illegal deportations of tens of thousands of Americans, totally fine. He can be funny, guys. It's okay that he's committing atrocities. It's fine. It's fine because he can be funny.
Of course.
He can be very funny. He can
Especially off camera, right?
He can absolutely. He can split you sort of sit there and you start guffawing because it's so funny. And also, I'll tell you something else. That Sarah, who's a psychologist, and she, psychologists, psychologists.
Of course.
They look at people. They identify very quickly with that. You know what she said to me about Donald Trump? She said he's a good person. He has a good heart. He wants to do good.
Uh-huh.
And that is something that I think that you have to know him well to appreciate it. And the last thing I tell you about him, okay? I mean,
You guys don't get it. When he was when he wasn't paying those construction workers, that was him doing good. Mhm. Mhm.
I can tell you many things, but he cuts through the chase. He cuts through the BS. You have to spell out what BS is. He cuts through the BS. He goes right to the point, to the heart of the matter. And sometimes he says things that get right to the things that people don't want to really think through. And he cuts to the bone. And that is an amazing quality because it lets you focus on the things that are important. So it's been an incredible partnership, both personally, but also for our two nations.
Did you have any type of relationship with Biden?
Not the same. I've known Biden for, 40 years? Almost as long. Well, both of them. Over the decades, it was a different relationship. It was a friendship, but also it evolved into, how shall I say this? Severe disagreements. And with Donald Trump, we've had powerful agreements. And with
Okay, the way he's talking about Biden is making it seem very like situationship. I'm sorry.
There's no daylight between an American president and an Israeli prime minister. Amazing things can happen. Like our common enemies who chant death to Israel,
Oh, amazing things can happen. Like, I don't know, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people.
death to America, and want to develop atomic bombs and the means to deliver them to this city and to every part of America. All of a sudden, they're not so intimidating. All of a sudden, we can defeat them. All of a sudden, you can use these brave American pilots who come from around the world, drop it right over the bunker, and help us end the amazing feats of our soldiers.
Why does he even pretend like the Democratic establishment didn't give him exactly what they want? Well, because Dems are so cucked, they're going to see this and be like, see, we should have given them more weapons of war. I know that we gave them everything that they wanted, but we should have given them even more than that. It was obviously our fault that we didn't give the war criminal, the genocidal maniac, more. Like, the fucking liberals are just going to be like, oh, we're really sorry about that. And then the Republicans would be like, see, this is how you know Trump is better. So it's like a great strategy by Israel, by Netanyahu, because it's a winning strategy.
And pilots. That's an amazing thing. It's good for America. It's good for the security of every single American.
How do you feel about the Americans' opinion on Israel right now?
Well, look, I think the broad segments of the American public support Israel, but I'm concerned that the young people in America, some of them are getting the wrong picture of Israel, vilification, demonization. You can feed them a lot of lies.
So are we being fed lies, or are we being fed videos of IDF soldiers recording themselves committing war crimes, shooting innocent civilians, and then laughing about it? Because I think I'm mostly just seeing that. I don't really think I'm seeing a lot of people talking about it. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of IDF members just straight up doing that. And straight up just like Israelis being like, but all the other countries got to do a colonization. They got to do genocide and they got to keep their land. Shouldn't we be able to do that too? Come on. Come on. We should be able to do a little bit of genocide as a treat. And if you don't let us do it, it seems kind of arbitrary that you're suddenly telling the Jews not to do the genocide. It's kind of, it feels a little anti-Semitic that you guys were all allowed to do it, but suddenly we're not allowed to do it.
So the only way you can fight lies is with the truth. How do you fight lies? You tell the truth, and you have to tell it as often and as intensely as the lies that are leveled against you, and that requires an effort. It's like another battlefield, you know. And I'm doing this podcast, among other things, to reach young people.
Of course.
You guys are pretty young. I mean,
30 years old.
30.
30.
That's young.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest misconceptions are about Israel?
Well, first of all, they don't know what kind of an open society it is, how pluralistic.
That's why you guys have legal gay marriage? Uh-huh.
I mean, we live in the heart of the Middle East, okay? Iran is not that far away. In Iran, they hang gays by cranes. In Israel, probably Tel Aviv is one of the, the most.
They hang the gays by cranes. I like how it wasn't even 2 sentences ago that he was talking about how they have to spend so much effort dispelling the so-called lies about them. And within 30 seconds, he was already saying lies.
Open, liberal-minded city on earth. Israel is a high.
We visited there, yeah.
No, it's completely different.
Our assistant's gay too. He had a good time.
Well, You could vouch.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we had all the
So, you know, I mean, look at that. How about women? Okay. Women in Iran, they shoot the women. They shot this extraordinarily brave and beautiful woman, shot on the sidewalk because she showed too much hair.
And in Israel, if you're a Palestinian child that exists, they'll shoot you for that. It's actually written in the Quran, shoot all women when they show skin. Sorry, hair. When they show too much hair. It's actually said in the Quran. You shoot all the women in Iran when they show too much hair. Luckily, the IDF only shoots unarmed children, thankfully. Thankfully. They don't shoot women, okay? We're a civilized people. We shoot unarmed children, okay?
Israel, women are, you know what women, I'll tell you what the difference is, okay?
They're girl bosses that love to drop bombs on innocent civilians.
So I had this young woman officer in my military secretariat. You know, the prime minister has military secretariat and usually has a general and it has staff assistants. One of the staff assistants was this young woman, pilot, navigator, on leave from the Air Force to do this work in the prime minister's office. You know what she did now? She was flying over the skies of terror.
No, he did not actually say what I just made fun of him for. No, dude, stop. Like, I didn't just literally say the women in Israel get to girl boss and kill innocent civilians. And then he actually said it. Denims, when IRL stream in Iran? Oh, whenever you leave your house for the first time ever. Okay? Then I'll do an IRL stream in Iran. Sounds like a deal?
Iran, you know, attacking this horrible regime that tyrannizes.
I never understand these chatters because, like, I've been to Arab countries. I've been to majority Muslim countries. It's like they love to pretend like these countries are, like, uncivilized, monstrous locations that you can't even leave your home without being, like, slaughtered on the street or some shit. It's like, that's not what these countries are like. The biggest concern with going to Iran is that Israel's gonna fucking kill me. That's the biggest concern. That's the primary concern about going to Iran. The primary concern about traveling to Iran is that a fucking Israeli airstrike is gonna kill me. There are literally Iranian Twitch streamers. Well, you can't expect this guy to know that, all right?
The women in Tehran. That's the difference. The women there get shot on the sidewalk, and an Israeli woman pilot helps liberate Iran. Quite the women of Iran. And boy,
Oh, she's liberate the Israeli female drone pilot is liberating them by killing them, destroying their homes, destroying their schools, destroying their hospitals. They have been liberated. Consider yourself liberated, okay? Me when I fucking explode your house and all of your family members. Feel liberated yet?
that's a big difference. And that's true of everything. It's true of nightlife. It's true of the startup nation, the incredible ingenuity and
I
entrepreneurship.
was a little bit loud. One sec.
Incredible freedom. Israel is a I would say is a paragon of freedom in an area that doesn't exactly enjoy freedom. And to have young Americans march and support these mass rapists, these people who beheaded men, who burned babies.
Okay. This is exactly why the Nelk Boys should not have done this interview. You're literally just giving this platform to fucking Hitler so he can push propaganda and lies that have not been substantiated. I think he got confused with what propaganda he was trying to push. They beheaded men and burned babies.
babies alive. I'm talking about the Hamas monsters. Is that their ideal? They don't know nothing. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. And I want to bring that truth to them. So Israel is a great free society and the best partner that America has.
So true. I'm sure if we brought on some Gazans, they would say the same thing. They would say America is great and Israel is a great free society. I'm sure actually Palestinians feel exactly the same way.
Anywhere on
Great
earth.
people there for sure.
Thank you for the live stream chat.
When we visited, everyone was so welcoming and people were inviting us over for dinner and
Yeah.
stuff. But I see, like, that's the thing too. I'm not claiming to be an expert too, but I'll just read stuff on like X and like people will say like
I'm not claiming to be an expert. I just read stuff on X. The
Israel's
everything app.
killing babies or like they're starving people.
That's completely false. In fact,
We're just lying. We're just totally lying now.
the reason we have civilian casualties in Gaza is because Hamas, who are basically horrible
Hamas.
murderers and killers, okay, committed
Seems like the Handala's preparing for boarding. Yeah, I have it open on the other monitor. Sorry for people on mobile who don't know what's happening. It looks like the Freedom Flotilla is going to be boarded soon, ? But I have it open on the side if anything unfolds.
to our destruction and your destruction. They say so openly. I mean, they say the big
You know
enemy.
the craziest thing? I wouldn't even have a problem with like the Nelk Boys profiting off of this or like hosting a podcast where they bring on someone else to have a conversation with Netanyahu. Like this would be, in my opinion, totally fine if they also brought on Mehdi Hassan. Just like one random person. I'm just picking a random person that recently performed well in a debate. If they brought him on and it was a conversation between Netanyahu and Mehdi Hassan, great. That would be fine, because at least you're bringing someone on who can actually needle Netanyahu on any of these things. That's not the problem that I have. Is not like well, we're just trying to like, I don't know, like let him speak and like see what, like the Lex Friedman model. At least there, it's like there's a conversation happening, and Netanyahu isn't just allowed to get on and say, you know, they burn and behead babies and men, and just so you know, Israel is so great. It's great in every single way. He rarely even speaks to Israeli press. Well, yeah, because Israeli press fucking hates him because he doesn't give a shit about the hostages.
The real enemy, the great Satan, is America. And Israel is the small Satan. But it's a small Satan that is.
It is written in the Quran. MashaAllah, it is written. America is the great Satan. It's the great Shaitan. Israel is the little Shaitan. It is written as Allah willed it.
Standing in their way of conquering with other Iranian proxies, conquering the Middle East, and then we move on to you. So America is the great Satan, and America, needs to.
Do you think it's possible that Netanyahu would refuse to do an interview with someone who would challenge? I mean, of course, Netanyahu would never have a conversation with someone who would actually challenge him, ever, ever. Would it be worthwhile to have someone with opposing views come on the next episode if possible? I mean, yeah, then the next best thing is to have like the Nelk Boys bring on whoever would be the best at dismantling everything Netanyahu said. That is the only way to undo I mean, you can't undo it because this one's going to get way more views.
And we stand in their way. But one of the things you have to understand is Gaza is the densest urban environment you can find. And Hamas embeds itself in the civilian population of Gaza, the Palestinians, okay? We tell the Palestinians, hey, leave. Because after they butchered us and raped our women and beheaded.
That's a crazy way to describe the Nakba.
Our men and burned our babies, we have to remove this threat. So we come in to take care of the Hamas terrorists. But the Hamas terrorists don't leave the civilian neighborhoods. And we say to the civilians, we call them up because we have their telephone numbers. We say, leave, please leave. We send them leaflets, millions of leaflets, please leave. We do everything that is possible that no army has done.
I love the idea that, like, in an attempt to destroy Hamas, They're dropping leaflets. Imagine this is happening where you are in your city, and you get like a leaflet. There's no internet, there's no power, there's no water, nothing's entering, no medical supplies, and you get like leaflets that you pick up off the floor that say, just so you know, your home is going to be destroyed in T minus 5 seconds. You need to leave. And then it blows up, and you're like, oh, well, the most moral army. I mean, they did tell me to leave 10 milliseconds before destroying my house. Okay. Uh, okay.
They want to leave. You know what Hamas does? They shoot them. You say, we want you to stay because we want to have civilian casualties, because then they can show it on CNN or all these other networks and so on and claim that Israel is deliberately doing this. We're not deliberately doing anything.
You're accidentally killing hundreds of thousands of people? I find that hard to believe. You know, I've went my whole life without accidentally killing hundreds of thousands of people. I know, crazy to believe that, but it's true.
We'd like them to leave. And in fact, successively during the war, it's been
Did you also let them leave when they were actively in the hospital getting treatment and you bombed it? Or how about when they were in the ambulances that you bombed? Or how about when they were on the safe routes you guys claimed were safe that they were on to try and leave the unsafe zones that you told them to leave, and then you bombed those? Or how about when you brought flour and then people tried to go get the flour and then you murdered those people? Or what about those those don't count. Those don't count. Okay. All right.
a year and a half, they finally do leave, most of them. So we've minimized those casualties, but it's not because we seek to have civilian casualties. It's because Hamas wants them.
Ah, Hamas, yes. That's why Hamas's initial demand was, we will release the hostages for a complete ceasefire and for a release of Palestinian prisoners that have been sitting in prison for years without a trial date. Uh-huh. Okay. Sorry, I love this. I love this chatter. Don't make these arguments. It just gives them an excuse to reduce the intensity and get away with killing more and more. Dog, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think Netanyahu gives a shit what me, some random Twitch streamer, has to say. Okay, I'm pretty sure Netanyahu's just going to do what Netanyahu wants to do. And the US is going to be like, did you want fries with that? With the billions of dollars of aid? You know what? We can upgrade it to a meal for free, actually. We can just give you, $5 billion of missiles, specifically for killing the brown children. And then also, we can give you a soda with that. We can supersize it. We'll supersize it and we'll give you another $1 billion. How about that? Oh, you drive a hard bargain. Okay, $10 more billion? Perfect. Perfect. Like, that's not...
They're willing to sacrifice their own children, their own families, both because they don't...
Nah, one random Twitch streamer can create empathy for sure. Yes, for sure.
really care for human life, but also because they think it's very good propaganda against us. And if they just let them leave the war zone, get to the safe parts, safe havens that we've created in Gaza.
Safe havens that you kill them at. What are you talking about?
One would be hurt. And the minute Hamas lays down its arms, surrenders, maybe we let them leave Gaza, that's the end of the war. No one gets hurt.
What would your message be to Palestinians that just want to have like a peaceful life?
Get rid of Hamas. Help us get rid of Hamas. They torment you. They oppress you. They shoot you in the back of the head. If you want to leave the war.
Oh, I know another country that does that. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. There's another country that would shoot you in the back of the head when you're unarmed. And it's just right there. And I just can't remember which country it is. Oh, it's just like, oh, what is it called? It'll come to me eventually.
Zone, they kill you. And if you say a word in protest,
Moravia. We are all hot girl. We are all hot girl. Hot girls, rise up in chat. Rise up. Okay.
they'll kill you. If you're gay, you're in bad shape, really bad shape. And
If you're gay, you're in really bad shape. I love the idea of like the average Palestinian running into like a gay person being like, wait, okay, I don't have any food, water, medical supplies, internet, electricity, but guys, let's kill him. He's gay. Go, 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 go. Like, what is happening? Like, what are we talking about? What are we? Everybody get the queer person. Go. And people fall for this shit. Sorry, I love this chatter. Denims, have you ever considered that all your facts are wrong all the time? All of my facts, all of the time, all of my marbles. Me when I quote Amnesty International, me when I quote the ICC, me when I quote the ICJ saying Israel is committing a genocide. I don't know how to tell you this, man. It's not my facts. You're arguing with the International Criminal Court. You're not arguing with me. You're arguing with the ICJ. You're arguing with their arrest warrant out for Bibi Netanyahu. That has nothing to do with me. Literally nothing to do with me. And is actually what this guy is saying is, sorry, and the truth is actually what this guy is saying. Bibi Netanyahu is actually what this guy is. Yeah. Yep. Netanyahu has never said anything wrong, ever. Has it ever occurred to you you're making all this up every day endlessly, and none of it is real, and all of it is misinformation? And if you just listen to what this guy is saying, it's the truth. This is the like worst Jedi mind trick I've ever seen in my life. Did you consider that actually Netanyahu is just a little baby? He's just a little angel. And all of your facts are wrong. So just like, you disagree with the ICJ?
Have you considered that the marbles are gone, folks? All of your marbles are wrong.
It's true. That is actually true. So just like, one sec. Wait. Yeah, they're being boarded. The problem is that there isn't that much I can show right now. Like, this is the only footage that we really have. There is an Al Jazeera reporter on board. Oh, really? One sec. Doesn't look like it's on the official feed. Looks like. Oh, maybe the Instagram live feed?
Of our governments. And not only Western governments, it's also every government that is not putting aid on internet, on boats and coming along with us. Everyone is complicit in this. And that's the world we're fighting here. One where these governments destroy international law and human rights and protections for people, and where violence and brutality, might is right. That is a world where nobody is safe, and we don't accept it. Whatever happens to us in the next few minutes or few hours, it will not be the end. We have been sailing to break Israel's illegal blockade and siege for over 17 years, and we are not going to stop now.
We're just going to talk in non-violent on the original show. Disappeared. We had a momentary target bearing 191. 7
Wait, did you want me to stay here? I think so. Technically close. I want to do a mayday. I'm not sure if it's too far out for a mayday. Show me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping this.
Tony, dead astern, 7 miles, dead astern.
I'm keeping this open. I'll let you guys know if anything. Meta doesn't have any moderation. I mean, I'll keep this open and let you guys know. Oh, I'll let you guys know if I see anything else or if there are any anything that's unfolding recently. Sorry, this chatter. I mean, the guy's telling you what the problem is. He's telling you he wants to end the war, and you don't believe anything he's saying, and you're making up your own things from wherever you're getting your information, and you're choosing to believe that instead. What if what he's saying is just what's going on? He doesn't seem like some psychotic killer who's trying to hide the fact he likes killing children. Dog, like I told you, this isn't about me. I am but a humble messenger. You are arguing with the UN. You are arguing with Amnesty International. You are arguing with the ICC, with the ICJ. Okay, guess what? ICC issues arrest warrants for Netanyahu, Gallant, and Hamas commander. With regard to the crimes, the court's pretrial chamber 1 found that reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following crimes as co-perpetrators for committing the acts jointly with others: the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare, and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane attacks. Like, you think you're arguing with me. You think you're disputing my points. You think I'm making it up or whatever. I'm only reiterating what organizations that have strong public support are themselves saying. Unless you're telling me you don't trust the UN, you don't trust Amnesty International, you don't trust the ICC, you don't trust the ICJ, and all of them are just in on this secret trying to like destroy poor little Netanyahu, which is crazy, which would be a crazy thing to type out. That would be insane. Yeah, I'm arguing with your take on what Benjamin is saying. You simply don't believe him and you think he's crazy killer lying through his teeth. It just seems... Okay, so are you going to address this? Or I just want a quick question. Do you believe the UN when they say it? Do you believe the ICC when they say it? What do you have to say about what's currently on the screen? That there is actively an arrest warrant out for Netanyahu for the war crimes of starvation, crimes against humanity, of murder, persecution, and other inhumane attacks. What do you think about this, Chatter? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Put it this way. I know what you want to believe. I know you're into Israel and all of that. What the fuck are you talking about? Just answer the question. It's a simple question. Do you believe the text that is on the screen right now? Do you believe this text? Or do you think this is fake news? Just answer the question. Come on. to answer the question. War is hell, and it's not easy on anyone. So you can't just admit that Netanyahu is a war criminal that has an arrest warrant out for him. That's just, you don't want to do that? That's too hard for you to do? I don't have enough information on that. Then why the fuck are you talking about something you know nothing about? Hmm? I can provide
Hey
sources
guys, I
for
know that we have
everything.
footage of this murderer killing people, but he seemed really chill in court, so maybe we should believe him.
Because I'm listening to what he's saying and you're disregarding everything he's saying. Oh, so like if OJ Simpson was on the screen and he was like, I didn't kill that woman. Or if Ted Bundy was on the screen, he was like, I didn't do that. I definitely did not do that. Like they're just making shit up about me. Like I literally haven't never murdered anyone or anything ever before in my life. And then I look at that and say, that's crazy because you literally got tried for this and you were guilty. So I don't. That's crazy that you're saying that because that's not true. Would you defend OJ Simpson? Because you're like, well, it feels like you're being a little mean to him. Feels like you're being just a little mean to him. And you're implying that he's completely psychotic, and I don't think that's the case. So again, I know that engaging with hypotheticals is really hard. Okay, I know it's really hard, but try your best. Try your best. This is the last question I'm going to ask you. So try really hard. If Ted Bundy was being interviewed and he said, I've never killed anyone, and then I said, that's crazy that he's just lying like that, you would say, I just feel like you're being really harsh on him and you're just like saying he's completely psychotic and he seems like a nice guy. Like, that's not what I see when I see him being interviewed. Also, this shit right here is why the Nelk boys are doing this is a fucking problem. I mean, yeah. Do you think the chatter is going to respond to the Ted Bundy analogy? You think he's going to respond? I think analogies might be a little hard. I guess hypotheticals might be a little hard. And so I guess that means Trump is completely psychotic too. Two completely insane people in charge of countries. It's ridiculous. The whole thing that you're suggesting is ridiculous. You're so close. This is the equivalent of like being a German in Nazi Germany and being like, okay, so let me get this straight. The
Yay.
Fuhrer is a Nazi and he's trying to kill a bunch of people just because they're Jewish. Do you see how ridiculous you sound? Like, do you hear yourself? Do you actually hear how ridiculous that is? I want to live this world where like I can just point at something that's insane that's happening in the real world and be like, well, that can't be happening. It's too crazy to be happening. I hope you can move past your denial one day, chatter, and instead of assuming that someone who
It's okay, I'm
disagrees
sure
with
by now they've taken
Netanyahu,
Adam's suggestion and read Hannah Arendt and learned about the banality of evil.
yeah, I hope that one day, chatter, one day, you can actually do your research on Israel and you can do your research on Palestine and you can see for yourself all of the war crimes that Israel has committed and why, when people see Netanyahu say shit that's objectively wrong, they say this is wrong. And instead of immediately assuming that everyone else is just being a little too mean, they're just being a little too mean to Netanyahu. Like, he probably didn't even do anything that bad. Before assuming that, you could instead start at like, I wonder, is there a reason that maybe some people don't like Netanyahu? I wonder. I should do some research and see why it is. Maybe there's an arrest warrant out for him for the war crime of starvation and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane attacks. Warrant from who? The International Criminal Court. All right, moving on. I don't know how these people like. I assume that this is like a literacy problem. Like, this is an example of like just like a literacy problem in the United States or wherever this person's from, where it's just like they wrongfully assume that because someone else is harsh on Netanyahu, it must be that the criticisms are unfounded and not that Netanyahu is a war criminal. Like, because the order you're supposed to do these things in is, whoa, this person is going really hard into this other person. Let me see if they have a valid reason for believing this. And then you decide, based on the evidence you're provided, whether or not the reason is valid. You go from there. You don't start at, well, you have to be wrong because this is crazy. It's like, you know what else was crazy? Slavery. That was crazy. You know what else was fucking crazy? Women like not being people. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty insane. There's a lot of insane shit that has happened in our reality. You don't point at something and say, that was crazy. That couldn't have happened. That can't be real. That doesn't make any sense. That's not an argument. That's not even close to an argument. Most of us don't get an education in what's critical thinking or even theory or knowledge. I mean, these people are just such an enigma. Like, these people are like such an enigma to me. Like, how do you like remember to breathe? Like, have you filed taxes ever before in your life? Do you know how to create a shopping list? Like, I feel like if you're incapable of creating a train of thought that makes any sense at all, there's no way that you should be able to participate in society in any semi-meaningful way because none of this makes sense. Like, for example, everyone wanted to believe Trump started the war in Iran when all he wanted to do was stop it. And Benjamin is saying the same thing. He wants to stop the war as soon as possible. Oh, because Trump is on the Epstein list, makes him guilty immediately, like lynch mob mentality. And it's because you don't like these people. You don't like when they do good or bad. You just don't like them. Like, how does this person remember to breathe? How? How? This has to be a child. This has to be a child. Okay, okay, we're moving on. This has to be a child. I just can't. I just don't. All right.
If you are a woman, you're
Also, yeah, to be more, to actually break down why what he said doesn't make any sense. Just because you don't like him ignores all the evidence you provided for reasons why. It's like, if you ignore all of the reasons why people don't like Netanyahu, yeah, I guess people just dislike him for no reason. Yeah, if you just ignore everything that someone is saying, you can just say, well, you just don't, Chatter, chocolate bread, you just don't like me for no reason. There's always people like that, conspiracy theorists. You're just a conspiracy theorist, and that's why you don't like me. That's why. It's like, oh my God. Okay, moving on. Moving on, no more chatter.
chattel. You're chattel. You're nothing. You're property. That's the opposite of everything we believe in. We, I say, it's not only Israel, it's you.
Mhm.
So we're the same.
How do you respond to, like, I'd say there's a lot of American support from the females, from the gays towards Palestine. So how does that make any
Sorry, red flag females.
sense based
That's
off?
gays for Gaza is like chickens for KFC. You know,
I saw this one interview that was like, it was just so beautiful. Like, this chick destroyed this guy. It was one of those street interviews, which are usually terrible, to be clear. And it was this guy dressed in like a suit, and it was like a rainbow suit. Don't know how else to describe it. And he's like, so you're gays with Gaza, huh? Or you're queers for Palestine, huh? And she's like, yeah, of course. Like, no one deserves to live in a country, in an open air prison, and actively have their schools destroyed, their hospitals destroyed, their homes destroyed, and countless people around them murdered. Like, no one deserves that, right? Let me see if I can find it. And he was like, well, they kill all of the gay people there and all the women. There are no women or gay people. And as soon as they find one of you gays or women, they actually kill you immediately. It's like, hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I know that that's not right. Let me see if I can find it. Wait. I want to find it. It was a really good video. Oh, I knew I would want it eventually, and I just didn't save it because I'm a fool. Hold. 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 Can't fucking find it, dude. Does anyone here have it by any chance? Anyone here know the video I'm specifically talking about? Man, that's annoying. Well, I'll let you guys know if I find it, okay? I'll let you guys know if and when I find it. We're going to continue. What are you looking for? It's this video where like this street interviewer talks to this woman who's like gays for Gaza or something. And the interviewer is like very clearly trying to like pretend like he's on her side until he's like not on her side. But I will let you guys know. I'll find it. I'll see if I can find it. I think when people start talking about Palestinians being homophobic, you should just ask those people you believe in gay rights then, or do you agree with the people you're describing? Because a lot of them hold the same views that they're trying to chastise these imaginary Palestinians for. Well, I don't know that that's always an effective strategy, especially because in the moment, it's like the card says moops. They'll just say in the moment, well, of course not. I believe in rights for these people. Like, not everyone will commit to the fascistic position. Some will, but then where do you go? I think it's a much better idea to say, like, oh, so you think we should bomb the Bible Belt? Because, like, countless queer people die in these southern red states. Like, countless people die in these countries. Or, sorry, in these states, excuse me, because of hate crimes. So should we start bombing that? Should we, like, just cut off all resources to, like, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee? We should just, like, none of these countries should have food, water, medical supplies, just, like, nothing? To save the gay people. That's how we're going to do it? Does that make sense to you? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't seem like an effective way to help gay people. Okay, here.
Queer for Palestine.
This video is bomb. Thank you.
Yeah, I am
Okay.
pro-Palestine. Yeah.
Okay, did you know that in Palestine it's punishable by death to be gay? Well,
Which someone can link me on the source for this. I tried to find this, like, if you're gay, they kill you law. I didn't find anything about if you're gay, they kill you. I didn't see anything on this.
did you know that?
Well, I didn't, but I mean, I still don't.
You had no
think
clue?
No.
Did you know Israel's the only place in the Middle East where it's even legal to be gay?
That's okay. I still don't think that people deserve to experience genocide and be mass murdered. So
I don't either,
Yeah,
but-
I believe in equal rights above all.
Sure.
People's religious beliefs are beyond me. Do I
Sure.
think that people deserve the right to, like, live freely
Sure,
and
sure.
exist? Yeah, I do.
Right.
No matter what their personal
But
beliefs
you're
are.
comfortable, like, supporting a government that kills
I
gay
am.
people?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
That kills gay people
Yeah.
just for being gay?
I am, yeah, because I think that they should still be able to live. I don't believe in genocide. Do you believe in genocide?
There's not,
You
there's no,
Yes, go in. And then for him to fucking show his ass, well, there is no genocide.
genocide. There's no
that-
genocide
There is a
happening.
genocide.
There's not. What do you
There's a
define as genocide?
People being mass murdered.
That's not what genocide, this is war.
No, that's mass murder.
Which, in her defense, honestly, queen shit, but in her, not in her, well, in her defense, I don't know. To be clear, it isn't just mass murder. It's like an active attempt to ethnically cleanse, displace, or kill a group of people based on immutable characteristics. So just to be very clear, there is a slightly more specific definition than just mass murder. You have to be a group that is being persecuted for race, religion, etc. And there has to be a very deliberate attempt. You can commit mass murder without it being a deliberate attempt. So, like, if you had like a mad king that was just like, set off the nukes in the middle of France. It's like, oh my, you're spitting, hold up. But that wouldn't be, it'd just be like someone committing mass murder, right? So yeah, to be clear, genocide does have a slightly more specific definition besides mass murder. But it doesn't matter because she's right. It doesn't really matter here because she's right that they are committing a genocide. And that they've shown enough intent, that enough people in leadership positions have showed enough intent of genocide. So
There's a difference.
you need to have the specific intent of exterminating the group. You can kill one person and it's a genocide. Israel, well, at the very least, it's an attempt at genocide, or it is an attempted genocide.
Between war
It's
and
mass murder.
genocide. All right. Queer for Palestine.
Dude, she literally ate so hard. She fucking bodied his ass. He thought he was gonna eat. He was like, they will kill you if you're gay. He literally just made it up. It's in the law that they kill. They have, as Mr. Mold says, they have genocide baked into their laws. It makes no sense what these people are saying, but they're saying it anyways. And then he posted this because he was like, I epically owned her so hard. Also, really solid on her feet. A lot of people would have been thrown off. I mean, it's very obvious that she's like not media trained and she still performed really well. So TLDR, that's the only accurate response to like someone saying, well, they kill the gay people. It's like, first of all, they don't have laws that say kill all the gay people. That's not true. This is factually untrue. Okay. Second, if mistreating gay people is your metric for whether or not you're allowed to bomb homes, schools, hospitals, just like leveling any territory, then like half the US should be gone. Texas shouldn't exist anymore if that's your policy, that if you are rude or imprison or kill any gay people, then like, again, half the US by your rules wouldn't be allowed to exist.
I mean, that's insane. The whole thing is absurd. Chickens for KFC, right? Gays for Gaza, or, women for the...
I love the idea that like you can't possibly empathize with another group of people. Ever. If your group is even a little different from the other group, you can't ever empathize with them.
Women of Gaza, talking about, they're completely subjugated. They've got this death cult that is contaminated. So you can push.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember seeing this a long while ago. I saw this on Queering the Map. It's like an app for queer people, I think, to like talk about themselves, where they're at, etc. And it was comments from people in Gaza saying, I've always imagined you and me sitting out in the sun, hand in hand, free at last. We spoke of all the places we would go if we could, yet you're gone now. If I had known that the bombs raining down on us would take you from me, I would have gladly told the world how I adored you more than anything. I'm sorry I was a coward. It's also like fundamentally, you just like, this argument doesn't work with right-wingers and morons, so I don't bother doing it, but also just on a, like, just common sense wise, how do you expect people to ever work on social issues when they're too busy trying to meet the most basic hierarchy of needs, their most basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Like, if people don't even have safety, if they don't have shelter, if they don't have food, water, like the most basic essential needs for survival, for comfort, how can you expect them to care about like social issues? And that goes both ways. That goes in the, you really think these people who are struggling to feed themselves and struggling to find clean, safe water and medical supplies, that those people are going to spend their day hunting the gays? They're like, okay, I know we're dealing with this crisis right now, this whole genocide thing, but I heard from someone else that that guy might be gay. Let's kill him. Like, use your brain. Just use it for one moment. Second, how do you expect society to improve and people to actually start caring about social issues when all of their time is preoccupied with trying to survive?
This stuff on TikTok or whatever on the stuff, but you can't build peace or security on the rocks. They'll crash. I mean, these things will crash on the rocks of Middle Eastern realities. You can only build peace on truth.
So there's no peace in Israel.
On reality, not on deliberate, falsified fantasy.
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food, takes the good chunk for itself, then sells at inflated prices. They jack up the prices, and then they sell the food to its population, to its hungry population, if they give them at all, and then use the money that they take from their own people to recruit more killers into their terror machine. That's what happens.
Why are more Palestinians not siding with Israel against Hamas then?
Well, up to now, they've been terrorized, but guess what's happened? Since we're beating Hamas, all of a sudden we see Palestinians rising. You have to see this to believe this, okay? and they say to Hamas, hey, you're not coming into my building. You know, you can't use my school or this hospital as your command post. We're not letting you. And they start fighting them. Now we have actually armed conflict between Palestinians and terrorists. It was
How the hell do the Nelk Boys manage to breathe if they're this fucking dumb?
unimaginable a year and a half ago. But now there are Palestinians who rise up. And, you know, the more the better, because we can create a different future for Gaza. And we should also do something very simple that President Trump said, and it was brilliant. So that's my idea. That's how he cuts to the chase. He says, you know, at the end of this war, the people of Gaza should have the choice. If they want to leave for other countries, they want a freedom of choice. Why are they locked in? Hell, we're not.
You know it's bad when even NPR is going hard on Israel. Like NPR is famous for kind of getting a little centrist with it. The problem with NPR is not like incorrect reporting. Generally, they don't report on something in like a blatantly incorrect way. The problem is that they create a lot of false equivalencies. And that's the problem with NPR, where they definitely lean left, but they create false equivalencies where there are no false equivalencies, right? Or sorry, where there is no like relevance to an argument. So like they'll like paint out the pro-choice, pro-life argument, and they'll be like, well, the pro-choicers, they want to murder babies. And then like the pro-lifers just want to protect life. It's like, wait. How can you talk about this and like totally ignore all of the terrible shit that pro-lifers have done and how effectively they are not pro-lifers, they are pro-forced birth. TL, okay, moving on. You guys get the point that I'm trying to make. So all of that was to say, wait. No, I got distracted by chat message. Oh, you know it's bad when I'm listening to fucking NPR? And they say, you know, from an economy standpoint, from an economist standpoint, if Hamas is stealing all of the food and they're selling it on the black market, and it's not making its way to the people there, and Hamas is financially benefiting from them, the easiest way to make that stop is by flooding Gaza with food. If Gaza is being flooded with food, Hamas can't make any money selling food. People already have enough food. They will stop hoarding and stealing the food when everyone has more than enough food. When everyone has food, more than enough, why would they ever try and black market purchase bread? You flood the market to the point where they have no control over that market. And this was on NPR. Do you know how bad it is when NPR is saying, Israel, you guys really should just be giving them as like, not on like because I care about these people, but on just like a supply and demand type of way. It just makes more sense for you to flood the market with food. It's like New York Times even ran a story today saying Hamas is not robbing food. But even if they were, the solution to that is not to prevent even more food from entering. It would be to give as much food to the people there. If people don't feel like they have food insecurity, they're not going to feel like they need to stock up on food. They're not going to feel like they need to buy food from the fucking black market. Mayor Cat.
Not locking them in. Anybody could leave, but Hamas is locking them in. Suppose
anyone can leave, and that's why the March of Return didn't. You guys just let them out. They were like peacefully walking. The children that were peacefully walking towards the gate. You guys definitely didn't shoot those people in the head. You definitely opened the gate and said, "Well, yeah, you want to go? Just go ahead."
they want to leave. They want to go to another country. Okay. Why shouldn't they have the freedom of choice to do that? Because this is all upside down.
Because they're not allowed to re-enter when they leave.
You know, the victim of this horrible terrorism is called the aggressor. The the people who are oppressed by Hamas are seen as supporting Hamas. Give them a choice. Give them freedom. Give them a life and give them a future. They can't have that with these.
Even the U.S. government recently found that there's no evidence of widespread food theft by Hamas.
Hamas stormtroopers. But the amazing thing is, you know, I come here and I see these protests. The people who are protesting for Hamas and against Israel, they burn American flags. They not only burn the flag of Israel, they burn American flags. They're anti-American.
Because we're giving Israel billions of dollars. Yeah, guess what? If I was Palestinian, I would also burn the American flag. They're funding a genocide, killing my people. Yeah, no shit, you would burn the American flag. Are you fucking kidding me? This is like, you know, the Jews in Nazi Germany were burning the German flag. Are we serious right now? Are we actually serious right now? That's amazing. That's actually amazing.
They're not MAGA. They're not supporters. You know, who do they support? You know who they support? They support Iran and its proxy, Hamas or Hezbollah. What does Iran do? Just understand, people support.
This interview is like letting Tom Brady play Pee Wee football. These clowns are so out of their propaganda league. It's awful. You know, I don't know anything about sports, so that's hard for me, but I'm going to believe that that was a good analogy.
Support Iran or speak on its behalf. Iran tried to assassinate President Trump, not once, but twice.
They were behind those assassination attempts?
They openly admit. By the way, they put out a price on his head, on mine too, by the way, smaller price. I'm not offended.
They actually put a price on your head?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Do you know what it is?
You know,
Yeah, it's smaller than his, naturally. He's the president of the United States, for God's sake, okay? So they put out a fatwa 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, by the official cleric of the Iranian regime that President Trump has to be assassinated, and that
I saw images of like the conversation between Hassan, the Nelk Boys, and Adam Friedland. And I was like, that's all I saw. I just saw the screenshots of like their faces. And I was like, okay, there's no way it was really that bad. But it's like we're 20 minutes in to this over an hour long conversation. And they're just literally letting him say whatever he wants. It's just like Netanyahu just is getting on and being like, anyways, yeah, they're all evil. Israel's never done anything wrong. More money, please. The United States, we need more money so we can bomb the brown children. I mean, protect ourselves. We've never done anything wrong. Ever. Ever. I'm referencing that one Parks and Rec clip. This one. Oh, sorry, it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I know this.
This clip.
I have done nothing wrong, ever.
This is Israel.
In my life.
I know this.
This is the United States.
And I love you.
I love you too, Daddy. Money, please.
And then this is Israel asking for billions of dollars so that they can bomb more brown children. Money, please. I've never done anything wrong in my entire life. Ever. Oh, it is Parks and Rec. It's an ad for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh.
Please, my money.
Dr. Saperstein, your son is my best friend. He's like a brother to me. But he's a disaster. And your daughter seriously needs to be locked up in some sort of insane asylum.
I've never seen the rest of this clip. Or it's been a long time since I watched the source material. And this is like, yes. Yes.
On an island.
Oh.
In space.
I have done nothing.
The analogy still holds. Amazing.
Have to be assassinated. And by the way, they targeted Sarah, my wife, was here, and they targeted our bedroom window. Yeah, we were supposed to be there. They hit through the
This like attempt at an own is always so weird to me. Wait, so you admitting that Hamas are terrorists and war criminals? We've said that Hamas is a terrorist organization from day one. The day that they started killing civilians was the day that they were designated as a terrorist organization. If on October 7th they had only targeted military bases and only killed IDF members, it would be much harder to define them as a terrorist organization. But they killed hundreds of civilians that, or at least participated in the actions that caused hundreds of civilians to die, because we're unsure how many people were killed by actually Israeli forces and like Israeli tanks and stuff. But like this highlights more how your perspective of this is way more like team sports than anyone else's. And you're like assuming everybody else has this team sports mindset. But we're all in here capable of saying, yeah, Hamas for sure killed a lot of innocent people that didn't deserve to die. Yeah, they are a terrorist organization. Uh-huh. Israel also is committing war crimes and a genocide. These two things aren't mutually exclusive. We're all capable of seeing these things and not thinking that they're mutually exclusive. Doing team service with genocide would be crazy. I mean, it is insane. It would be insane to do that. Obviously, the reason people on the left tend to criticize Israel way more is because the asymmetry is very obvious. Israel has the entirety of the United States backing it, all of the weapons of war that come with that, and as much money as they want. They are the owners of the water, the medical supplies. They literally control the ports. They control all of the entries and exits from Gaza. Like, it's not a war because there's too much asymmetry. So we're going to spend way more of our effort criticizing the U.S. for funding Israel. If the U.S. funded Hamas and Hamas was doing what Israel is doing to Palestinians, like the other way around, we would all be going hard into Hamas. But the reality is our tax dollars aren't funding Hamas. Our tax dollars are funding Israel's murdering of hundreds of thousands of people. So it only makes sense to criticize that which we have any control over, aka our funding of Israel's weapons of war, and the party that is committing way more atrocities at a way greater amount because they have an insane asymmetry of power.
their proxy Hezbollah. They fired a drone right into our bedroom window. So
Just recently?
Oh yeah, no, it was a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was a year ago actually. Yeah, a year ago. Okay. So how many months? 7 months. 7 months ago. She counts, you know. Yeah, so they tried to assassinate President Trump twice. They've killed and injured thousands of Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan. They bombed American embassies. They murdered 241 Marines in Beirut. They chant death to America, death to Israel. They're out to get America. They're building they were building atomic bombs and intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's their plan to reach America. So you want these mad ayatollahs to have that power? Of course not. So they're anti-American, they're anti-Israel. And the guys who protest, and many of them are paid and organized by foreign NGOs, bad people. They're out against America. They hate Israel because they see Israel as part of...
That's amazing. That's amazing. We're doing they actually want to destroy America. We're just in the way. They're going to come for you next. Also, sorry. I know. Stunlock, one guy I know. Benjamin is saying there's no genocide. You're assuming there is one. I'm not assuming there is one. I'm going based off of what the ICC said and what the ICJ said. There's no assumption being made here. We're judging the actions and the words of people like Benjamin Netanyahu, like Yoav Gallant, saying they're all human animals. We have to level Gaza. No electricity, no food, no water. We're judging them based on what they're saying. There are no assumptions being made here. And if you think like that, you're going to see a world of problems in all of this. I mean, Again, there's no assumptions being made here. We're judging them based on the statements that they have said. We're judging Benjamin Netanyahu based on what he has said. We're judging Yoav Gallant based on what he said. Yeah, you're getting it from other sources, but Benjamin is saying there is none, it doesn't exist, and you're choosing not to believe that. I'm not choosing not to believe that. There's no evidence to support his claims. There is evidence to support the opposing claims. It has nothing to do with what he's saying or what someone else is saying or whatever. This has to do with who is the warrant out for right now? Where is the evidence? There's always evidence of anything if you look forward. I was arguing with a streamer who was saying that Flight 93 was shot down. I sent him to Popular Mechanics website. They explained how that was impossible, but he didn't want to believe it, and so it goes. This is actually this chatter. How can the mirror see me when I'm behind the towel? Can you imagine watching an interview? I understand that this guy probably has never watched a single interview with literally anyone ever. Like 0% chance this guy has listened to like Putin speak ever. But can you imagine watching Putin be like, there's no way these aren't NPC paid actors? I know, right? Can you imagine watching Putin be like, well, Ukraine was literally invading us and murdering us and aggressing upon us, which is why we had to enter this war, and being like, well, if you're disagreeing with him, you're going based off of assumptions. There's always evidence. Putin clearly had to be telling the truth here. It's like, this has to be like a really impressive bot. Or like an unimpressive bot, I guess. I agree with you on the Putin thing. There's no excuse for the thousands of people that are dying over there. There's nothing to warrant that. But you're making assumptions. Putin said that Ukraine invaded. Why are you making assumptions about Putin? Nothing to say, no comment. Why are you assuming 1 + 1 = 2? Exactly. I just want you to know if your next reply, if your next chat message chatter is not about what I just asked you, which is why are you assuming this about Putin? Putin says that they are acting defensively. If it's not a response to that, I have to ban you, okay? You don't get to wiggle out of this one. You have to respond to the question.
America.
Did you see the Zoran part of the conversation? No.
And in many ways, they're right.
I'm just trying to figure it out too, because even in New York City, right? What's Zoran?
Yeah.
He's an anti-Semitic guy.
Yeah.
The highest.
Oh, we're here. He's an anti-Semitic guy. He's an anti-Semitic guy. Zoran is anti-Semitic. Dude! Stop. All right, last message before we send this guy to the ether. Sorry for the delay. My remote wasn't working. To answer the Putin thing, we all have our sources of information. We all have our biases. So I'm like you in this regard. That is the most disgusting message anyone has ever written in my chat message. To be so stupid, to make up random nonsense and then be like, well, we all have our sources of information. My source, crack pipe. And then do never do that. Okay, you can call me dumb, whore, bitch. I don't care. Do not compare me to you. Someone who can't follow one line of reasoning. Never do that. Ever. That is the biggest crime you can commit here. That's the secret third rule. Okay? That's disgusting. The only people that are legally allowed to call me like them are people that are funny because that makes me feel good. I want to believe it. I want to believe that I can be funny. Okay, everyone else, no. That was too far. That was too far.
I think
Okay, back to this.
They're right.
I'm just trying to figure it out too, because even in New York City, right? What's Zoran?
Yeah.
He's an anti-Semitic guy.
Yeah.
The highest, I think the highest population of Jews in New York City. How's that even impossible?
Well, it's possible because a lot of people have been taken in by this nonsense. I mean, what? You want to defund
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Sure, let's go. Yeah, Zoran is anti-Semitic. Yeah.
the police? You want to have people go into stores and, rob them and be free? You think that really creates a good society? You want to crush all enterprise? You want to tax people to death? I mean, that's a one-term effort. But, sometimes you have to get mugged by reality.
Tax people to death, aka make the millionaires and billionaires pay a little bit more money. If I don't get my 7th yacht this year, I'm basically being taxed to death. To death. I only have 5 yachts. This is taxation to death.
Understand how stupid that is. So that's silly. But, sometimes folly overtakes human affairs for a while, but not for long because reality steps in. So I'm obviously not happy with it, but I'm less concerned with it because I think if we can speak the truth to the young people of America, they wise up.
The truth in question is calling people baby killers, or sorry, saying that Hamas is beheading babies and that they are burning babies and that they're beheading men and that they're killing all the gays. Uh-huh.
Pretty quickly.
Is the war with
Not to mention the Nelk Boys literally admitted these questions were scripted by Isreal.
This is probably a good segue to our Nelk Boy segment about, the stolen election or whatever.
Yeah.
They had
Oh, I didn't know Crystal and Cigar
Every
still did this
Zionist
show.
accusation is an admission every time.
on Candace. They've had on all the most controversial people.
I wish we could go back in time and fucking grill him 1,000 times harder. And we just went in there fucking unequipped to fucking interview him. We have a lot of
fuck
Muslim
off.
friends. We fucking...
You liar. You fucking liar. You guys saw it as a way to enrich yourselves, to fucking line your pockets, and you don't give a fuck. You're only saying this now because people are upset. You're like, oh, I didn't know people would care so much about a genocide. Geez. So we actually regretted it the whole time.
We've been to fucking Dagestan. We all know what's in our hearts. We don't hate anybody. We're not taking sides.
And so here we have what MLK described as the white moderate. We're not taking sides on a genocide, like it's hard to say who was right, like Maybe the people being genocided, maybe the people committing the genocide. You know, it's just really hard to say. When you don't take a side on this issue and then you platform Hitler, you're taking a side.
In this shit, we love everybody. I'm sleeping great because I know how I actually feel on the inside. So, and I know a lot of you guys are fucking, and this is not an apology. This is just, we fucking walked in there and we weren't fucking ready for it, man. And we walked in there uneducated. And I can admit that. But life goes on. There's nothing.
Guys, they can admit it. Life goes on, except for all the people getting genocided.
You could do.
It's an apology.
He's sleeping great. You can tell.
It's
He's
an
not,
apology.
He's barely
Kyle.
even thinking about this.
You're thinking about
stalker.
it, brother. I mean, in some ways, I'm like, look, you got a bunch of prank, frat, degen morons who are walking in there and they didn't know what they're doing.
I barely knew anything about the Nelk Boys before this. And like, I actually hate them.
Iran, is it
Yeah, they're called the Nuremberg Boys now.
over now? After President Trump did authorize the strike and they destroyed the nuclear program, was
Well, it
that
certainly
like,
helped. It did, but I'll tell you what happened. You know, we were like a person with 2 lumps of cancer, okay, that threatened our life. The first one's the nuclear cancer. Would have taken them another year. Within a year, they would have had atomic bombs, which they openly declared in the tyrants of Tehran. They said, we're going to destroy Israel, the Jewish state. The other threat that we had, another lump of cancer, was...
It was crazy because I like only see one cancer here. I just see the one, and it's just like right over...
these ballistic missiles. Now, you got to understand, this is like a bus. So with a ton of TNT, okay, explosives, comes down at Mach 8, and boom, just destroys everything in sight. Israel is the size of New Jersey, okay? So it's bigger than Rhode Island, but that's about it, you know? It's the size of New Jersey. Now, you imagine that you would have 20,000 of these ballistic missiles, these one-ton bombs on New Jersey. So you either get destroyed by atomic bombs or by thousands and thousands of these deadly ballistic missiles.
so you think there's still a threat and they want to?
Well, we had to act.
Yeah.
Why did we have to act? Because if you don't remove the cancer, you're going to be dead. Now, if you remove...
You know, we agree on something. We do agree on something.
remove it as we did, it might come back. That happens in cancer too. But if you don't remove it, you're not going to be there. So we had to act. We did act. And just with incredibly brave soldiers.
But is there a chance of peace with this current regime?
Not with the regime, but with the Iranian people. And I think they've had enough. 80% of them want to throw these theological thugs out. They're just, intimidated by secret police that has, that just shoots them. But I think that...
This is so funny when you talk to anyone who's Iranian, any people who've immigrated from Iran, and have had to leave Iran, they will all tell you the state they hate the most is Israel. And then Iran. And it's not close. It's not close at all.
I think that there's a chance that the Iranian people will actually rise up because, everybody talks about regime change and they envision, the American army and the Israeli, the IDF forces invading Iran, boots on the ground and all that other nonsense that people spewed forth. No, we took action to remove those two life...
Do you think we would ever put boots on the ground in Iran and potentially have to deal with warfare that was fair? Of course not. We only bombed them. Come on.
Threatening
We only bombed the civilians
threats,
and the
the
civilian
nuclear threat and the
architecture.
ballistic missile threat, and we removed it. We pushed it away for many years. But ultimately, it's up to the people of Iran to rise up against their tormentors. And I think there's a possibility it will happen.
Yeah, and bombing the shit out of them will definitely help.
Then we could have peace. We had peace with Iran before that. Before the Ayatollahs took over, in 1979, we had direct flights between Tel Aviv and Iran. We're two ancient peoples. We had a great partnership. over many years. We have a common history together. And it's sort of interrupted by this thuggery. But when this regime goes down, you're going to see peace between us like you never believed it.
That'd be nice because, yeah, I think one thing Americans don't want to see is everyone has post.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Tel Aviv and
Yeah, once we bomb the shit out of Iran, then we can have peace. You're like, okay, let me just, sorry, different chatter really quickly. You are literally shadowboxing and straw manning because you have nothing better to say or do. The brain power in this chat is so low. I'm a socialist, but I can still understand Hamas is a terrorist organization and Israel is taking their anger out on civilians and not terrorists. So does everybody else in here, you fucking shit for brains. I find Islam as a religion the biggest danger to world peace, but not all Muslims are dangerous. It's kind of sad how dumb the majority of the American population has become. You're talking about yourself. You are talking about yourself. Denims, not true. My mentor is from Iran. Your mentor for what? 2013 account. You're 40. What are you getting mentored for? Huh? What is your mentor Hutch? Is that who your mentor is? And my mentor's from Iran, and he hates Iran first. He's very, very against Iran. He never speaks about Israel. Like, out of all the things that never happened, this one didn't happen the most. That's crazy, dude. That's actually crazy. His mentor is the magician from Jubilee. I'm not talking about myself. You don't have had a mentor growing up? You never went to university? A professor? Do you mean a professor? Or a teacher? Yes, a professor. I'm Swedish. What does my age have to do with me having a mentor? Okay. I don't know anything about how the Swedish translation from professor to English goes. So it's possible that the Swedes use the word mentor for professors. I don't know. I'm not Swedish. Some Swedish chatter in chat, you can tell me. In my experience talking to people from Sweden, Finland, Norway, this is not. I have always been impressed that so many people from so many European countries speak such excellent English. It's actually really depressing being American. Thankfully, I speak more than one language, so I don't have to feel too bad. But it's actually so depressing that growing up, I had internet friends that were not American and they spoke better English and they typed better English sentences than American friends that I had. That was crazy. That was always really crazy. But anywho, we call our grade school teachers mentors. Okay. Well, maybe his grade school teacher said that. Maybe his grade school teacher said that. His grade school teacher was like, I'm Iranian and I hate Iran. I hate Iran so much. I only hate Iran. I'm going to press X to doubt. But sure, man. Whatever floats your boat.
Iran. You know, we're two ancient peoples. We had a great partnership over many years. We have a common.
It's just insane to me to ever even pretend like an Iranian person wouldn't also hate Western powers and wouldn't also hate Israel.
history together. And it's sort of interrupted by this thuggery. But when this regime goes down, you're going to see peace between us like you never believed it.
That'd be nice because, yeah, I think one thing Americans don't want to see is everyone has post-traumatic stress from, trying to do regime change in Iraq and the past Middle Eastern wars.
Why do it? That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It has to come from within the people. And the people are, they're great people. The Iranian people are great people. I sometimes do these podcasts to them. It's not a podcast. I mean, I do
and that's why you got to kill them.
I do a video. Okay. So 3-4 minutes, I tell them that we would happily cooperate with them, solve their water crisis. Israel is the best water management in the world. We could give it. They don't have water in Iran, even though they have. They don't have.
They don't have water in Iran.
Electricity, even though they swim in oil, because it's so corrupt and so badly managed. So I give these podcasts. You know what I see? Millions and millions and millions of views. And the first time they showed me this, I said, no, it can't be.
Other people have mentioned it, but we're going full into Trumpisms.
I said, no, Prime Minister, look, I mean, you got, 15 million views. I mean, the whole population of Iran is
they're watching, right?
90 million. So I said, oh, well, that's amazing. You know what the amazing thing is? They have names. The people identify themselves. So you understand, in a tyranny like this, if people speak out, they really want, what they want? Freedom. They want their freedom. They have, they have this slogan. Well, it's women, freedom. The women want to be free. The men want to be free. And Israel wants them to be free. And I think America wants them to be free. But it's up to them. Ultimately, it's up to them. And I think they're getting closer and closer to the day when
these sentences make no sense. They have names. They want to be free. They have no water. Okay. They have no water is a very different sentence from also they swim in oil. That one, it can be metaphorical, whatever. Is a very different sentence from maybe they experience droughts or they have water shortages. If they had no water, they wouldn't exist as a people. In the same way that like LA has water problems, LA deals with droughts. You don't say LA has no water. You can say the LA River has no water because the LA River actually has no water. I'm sorry. It's like a couple droplets. All right. There's nothing there.
This horrific regime disappears. That'll be good for America. So it's not conquest. It's not American boots on the ground. For God's sake, everybody said World War III, remember? If the president enters, you got these experts, paid experts, silly experts. America, World War III, it's war between China and America, and you have to invade Iran and all that nonsense. Hell no, very brave and persistent pilots, they go in, drop this thing in the bunker, come back, not a single American casualty. And by the way, not a single Israeli casualty. Our brave pilots flying over the skies of Tehran. Nothing.
How did President Trump let you know about that mission?
You ever hear of phone
How brave.
call?
So what, buddy? Just
flying up in the air, murdering civilians. So brave.
Called you up and said, Prime Minister,
I don't think
we're bringing in the B-2s.
I don't think it was an open line, but we have these great conversations. We're very open with each other, and he said it's like a team that has never happened before, and I can categorically vouch that having worked with successive American presidents, I've never seen anything like it. And it's trust, it's affinity, it's understanding that, we're fighting for a greater purpose. and that we can do so very intelligently and very differently from the way that is being portrayed in the media. And we just had proof. You know, all these guys, you know, they're sitting there. Yeah, if President Trump is foolish enough to do this, it's going to start World War III. It's going to embroil America in another Vietnam. You heard this stuff? You remember this? This is yesterday. They talked about it with such authority and you know, and seeming expertise. That's all.
Well, you know, the last time that America decided to start getting involved in the bombing of other nations in the Middle East, you know, we did kind of have like that whole 9/11 thing, and then as blowback. So I think Americans are and pundits are reasonably concerned about more blowback. Just like a minor, small amount of blowback. Just like minor, just like a little blowback.
Oh, nonsense.
Yeah.
It just turns out to be nonsense. Pure, utter nonsense. And the president had the temerity and the leadership to disavow these so-called experts and do the right thing, and to do it with great resolution, great clarity, and with great transparency between us. You don't have to tell the Iranians, but we tell each other.
Do you have any type of relationship with Kim Jong-un?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Just interesting.
No, the answer is no.
I think you definitely have a tough job, but why do you think you're like so hated worldwide?
Well, a lot of propaganda. First of all, I'm not hated worldwide. I just received this.
Actually, people love me. Actually, ignore all the people that hate me, even Israelis that fucking hate me that were protesting. Ignore my approval rating. Ignore the fact that people were so fucking mauled that I don't give a shit about the hostages. Just ignore that. People actually love me.
I just talked to someone, a rabbi, and he says he just heard from his brother, who was in Europe. Okay.
Guys,
and
you talked to a rabbi whose brother was in Europe.
One of the countries of Europe. And he says that he's being flooded, you know. They know he's from Israel. All the people are coming and they say, you did this amazing thing for all of us, okay? The Chancellor of Germany said Israel did the work for all of us, the new Chancellor of Germany.
Real story, by the way. He knows a rabbi whose brother is in Europe, a country in Europe. And everyone clapped and said, you did this amazing thing for all of us. Things that definitely happened.
Germany, okay? I hear, you know, they had the G7. The president told me they were all going crazy. I mean, you know, in a positive way. Because we liberated them. Because those Iranian missiles were geared at Europe too, and ultimately at America with nuclear warheads. So we had the guts to do this. And, you know, the propaganda is there. I don't deny it. Because we liberated them, because those Iranian missiles were geared at Europe too, and ultimately at America with nuclear warheads. So we had the guts to do this.
The Iranian missiles with nuclear warheads that they don't have, by the way, were aimed at Europe and America. Well, you know, I got to say, at least we've moved on from they're going to have nukes any day now, any week now. They're going to have nukes next month, next week, tomorrow, in 5 seconds. And we've moved on to they have the nuclear warheads. Source, I don't have it. I also love the idea that that Iran would just start aiming the nuclear warheads at random countries in Europe and not Israel. They're like, who should we nuke? We could nuke Poland or Israel. Oh, it's such a hard choice. Let's do Finland. Like, what? It also ignores the... Okay, whatever.
And, you know, the propaganda is there. I don't deny it. But people also have, sometimes the truth beckons. And what Israel did with President Trump is safeguard free societies from a menace. I mean, this Iranian regime hangs gays from cranes, shoots women on the sidewalk for not covering their hair, oppresses their people, spreads terrorism worldwide, kills Americans wholesale, tries to murder the American president, the former Secretary of State, the former National Security Advisor. So people's heads, if people are turned that way, the question you have to ask is not why do they hate me or President Trump, is why don't they see reality? Why don't they see what's good for them? And the answer is most of them do if you tell them the facts. But how do you tell them the facts over TikTok? You guys are there. You tell me, what's the suggestion? You got any ideas for me?
I don't think it's the Iran thing. The main thing I just see is if I don't think people like if civilians are getting injured or killed.
We don't want it either.
Yeah. Well, I think the other issue too is you see there's a lot more Palestinian protests. You don't see very many Israeli protests. So you're going to see that on TikTok.
It's organized, it's systemic, but it doesn't make it true. I mean, so what? Yeah, you have it. But what are they protesting for? I mean, look, most of the Arab world has made peace with Israel. We've had 4 historic peace accords. People said you can never have peace because the Palestinians, you first have to solve the Palestinian issue. Well, the Palestinians...
You can never have peace because you have to solve the Palestinian issue.
Have been fighting us for 100 years before there was even a state of Israel.
Because you walked in and murdered them and took their land. What? You ever be like, dude, I walked into this guy's house. I kidnapped him. I threw him in the basement. And then I said, he lives there now and he can never leave. And I'll give him water and food and whatever else he wants. As long as he behaves. And if he misbehaves, I'm going to beat the shit out of him. And he had the audacity to be upset with me. Can you believe this? Like, can you believe this? Like, all I did was a little bit of ethnic displacement and a little bit of ethnic cleansing. And they're at me. I like how we're at the fucking Arabs now. That's like basically we're like one step away.
And they're not fighting for a state. They don't want a state next.
They're fighting to not be genocided anymore, actually.
To Israel. They want a state instead of Israel. And they teach their children that the greatest duty is to murder as many Jews as they want.
I'll say it. This is a crazy self-report. Like, Israel has literally had pro-rape protests. I was trying to find the source of this story, for example, but I don't speak Hebrew, so I can't confirm this, but maybe somebody else who can speak Hebrew can tell me this. Maybe someone else can inform me. But before we get to that, I'm sure many of you guys saw this story about Jewish school children kicked off plane after just singing Hebrew songs. Isn't that so messed up? They just sang a couple Hebrew songs and they kicked them off. Oh, except in relation to the events that took place yesterday on July 23rd involving a group of teenage passengers, which, by the way, the reason they got kicked out was because they were fucking teenagers. Let's just be real for 2 seconds. Has nothing to do with anything. The safety of our passengers and operation is and always will be our top priority. The actions of the onboard staff were solely responsible to the behavior that compromised the integrity of the flight as well as the safety of the passengers. A group of passengers engaged in highly disruptive behavior and adopted a very confrontational attitude, putting at risk the safe conduct of the flight. This group mishandled emergency equipment, actively disrupted mandatory safety demonstration, repeatedly ignoring instructions from cabin crew. Despite multiple warnings, this inappropriate behavior persisted, which forced the crew to activate established security protocols. The crew, acting in accordance with Buelling procedures, requested the intervention of the Guardia Civil, who, after assessing the situation, decided to disembark the group to prioritize the safety of the rest of the passengers. Once at the terminal, the group's behavior continued to be aggressive. Some individuals displayed a violent attitude towards the authorities, which even led to the arrest of one of the group's members. We categorically deny that any suggestion that our crew's decision was related to the religion of the passengers involved. This decision was taken solely to ensure the safety of all passengers. At Vueling, we categorically reject any form of discrimination without exception. And like, here's the full article. Let me get the paywall. One sec. I think it's this. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Police said the removal had nothing to do with the children singing. The minors repeatedly tampered with emergency equipment and interrupted the crew's safety demonstration, ignoring the crew. The pilot, believing they were endangering the flight, ordered their removal. Okay, so like, if you're fucking with the emergency exit, or you're fucking with like the oxygen mask or like the life vest or whatever, while the person, the poor flight attendant is just trying to do the little demonstration where they're like, and then there's someone else being like, you know, always put your mask on before you help anyone else. You know, that part where like most people don't pay attention and then some people pay attention. And it's like, I've seen this 17 times. Same old, you blow into the fucking, yeah, you blow the stick, you get the, okay, whatever. I'm going to be honest. If you're actively disrupting that and you're fucking with the emergency equipment, I want the pilots or the crew to remove you from the flight. Actually, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your religion is, what your ethnic background is. I don't care. I don't want to be on a flight with someone who's fucking with the emergency exit door. No, I would hope that the airline would kick you off. Actually, I would not feel safe with you being in there because you're trying to get us all fucking killed. And I saw some comments saying that apparently the story's even worse because apparently they were singing like death to the Arabs in their song, which again, I don't speak Hebrew, so I can't fact check this. And I tried to find a source for this. And I found like one video, but I don't know if these subtitles are accurate. So, and these are obviously not the same kids. So like someone else can help me, fact check this story. I would really appreciate it because I just don't speak Hebrew, so I don't know. But yeah, I have seen some people say like, wait, were they singing this Hebrew song? Were they singing this one? This person here explains it, I think, a little
Your village burn. This is just inside the Damascus Gate in the Old City in Jerusalem in the Muslim quarter. This is a Muslim Arab area, and the flag march goes right through the main street of Hofagai, which goes down here. And these young guys are chanting, "May your village burn." So here they're chanting.
Which again, does translate.google work? I mean, I don't know that like I can do that off of dialogue. So you can take this with a grain of salt. But to be clear, the airline said that they kicked them off. They gave them warnings when they were fucking with the equipment and disrupting the environment, which honestly, like, I feel like it is a way more sane argument to take that like it was teenagers doing teenager shit. It had nothing to do with them being Jewish. It had nothing to do with them potentially being Israeli. It has nothing to do with them. It's just teenagers being teenagers. And I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck if you're a teenager. I don't want you endangering the lives of other people on a fucking flight. I don't want to be on a flight where random teenagers are allowed to just like fuck with the equipment, and then I get sent out the not airlock, because it's not an airlock because you're not in space, but you get what I mean. The emergency exit. That's not how I want to go. Okay. There's a lot of way better ways to go, and that one would suck. That one would actually suck. Okay. When did this happen? Well, the airline company released this statement. Or I believe this might have been the crew that, not crew, but the team that pulled them off Vueling. They released the statement on the 23rd, so 3 days ago. It's not just teenager shit. I mean, like, I'm saying it would be more reasonable to accuse this behavior of being like just teenager behavior instead of being like, this is anti-Semitism. It's like, what the fuck? How do you not see how like this works against your cause of trying to highlight actual anti-Semitism? Moving on. Where were we? In case of emergency, the teenagers can be used as a flotation device. Remember, all teenagers, every type of teenager can be used as a flotation device.
And they teach their children that the greatest
Yes, we were back to Palestinians teach their children to hate Jews.
duty is to murder as many Jews as they want. The so-called moderates, the other branch, not Hamas, the moderates that are described as such, they pay for slay. The more Jews you kill, the more they pay the murderers. I mean, that's a death
Which is crazy. Yeah, some of the anti-Semitism I see is pretty nuts.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm an American Jew, and it's hard to identify as that.
I understand.
You almost don't even want to own it.
But I think we just changed history. I see American Jews are very proud now. Jews around the world are very proud because we, these guys were out to murder us and do another Holocaust. You know, the Holocaust, the Nazis murdered six.
You're literally genociding another group of people. It's an unsaid problem in America, to some extent UK. A lot of officials and people literally owe their entire career to the state of Israel. I mean, AIPAC more specifically. There's a reason why so many incompetent freaks in places you wouldn't expect. Israel lobby funded their campaigns, used their networks and relationships to provide Israel loyals to just to places of power. There are zero merit for of their own. It's genius on behalf of Israel because even calling it out sounds anti-Semitic. But I mean, AIPAC, saying that AIPAC has funded countless Congress people, and the reason that they will never speak out on the genocide is because they are funded by AIPAC, has absolutely nothing to do with what Jewish people think. A fuck ton of the anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protests were led by Jewish people. I mean, it's a very strategic move on Israel's part to call itself the home of the Jewish people, and so that anytime you try and criticize Israel, they can say, oh, you just hate all of the Jewish Americans and you hate all Jews, period. Obviously, it's like, huh? What? No, I don't like the fact that, like, we are funding some bullshit war and some bullshit genocide that we have nothing to do with.
Million Jews. There are now 7 million Jews, close to 8 million Jews in Israel. They want to murder all of us, and they say so. And all of a sudden, unlike the Holocaust 80 years ago, we were completely defenseless, and they butchered us. Now we're not defenseless, but we are targeting them. And even though we have to fight the vilification that is happening in America too, ultimately, people join winners. That's what happens. People join winners. And we stand up strong and we're proud.
Winners. Murdering hundreds of thousands of people is winning. That's amazing. That's incredible.
And American Jews and the friends of Israel who are not Jews stand proud with us too. And I wouldn't be intimidated by these protesters. I think I don't think they know what they're talking about, you know? They're just totally ignorant.
What would you say? You're the longest standing prime minister in Israel's history. What would you say is your greatest accomplishment and your biggest regret?
My greatest accomplishment is what I set out to do 40 years ago. Right after the rise of the so-called Islamic Republic of Iran, I said, this is the greatest danger facing Israel in the world. Because if this fanatic anti-American, anti-Israeli regime gets nuclear weapons, we will be in mortal danger. So I devoted decades of my life to try
It's so obscene to talk about this in this way when, like, Western powers are to blame for the destabilizing of Iran. Iran had the audacity to want to, like, nationalize their oil, and what did they get for it? They got a regime change and a theocrat in power. And if not for the intervention of Western powers, Iran would be much closer. I'm trying to be as cautious as I can with my wording, much closer to the Western powers that we like, the democratic countries.
to prevent them from getting it. And I think one of the achievements that we have is we push back this great danger, again, with full partnership with President Trump and
The danger of nationalizing the oil.
United States of America. I'm very proud of that. And the other thing I did was I liberated the Israeli economy. It was a semi-socialist economy, of the kind that this candidate for New York.
You guys literally have free healthcare because we pay for it. Fuck off with this socialist nonsense.
It's not a good idea, you know. Like, we had a very low GDP per capita, and we weren't a first world nation. Okay, everything was tied. You know, you had bureaucrats. Controlling everything.
As opposed to
private
now,
initiative.
where the people lead. And that's why when everyone was saying, we don't give a fuck about Hamas, please release the hostages, please bring our fucking people home. That's why, I mean, it's not run by bureaucrats. It's definitely run democratically and with what the people want, right? No, okay. Yes. For sure. I must have just, like, missed the patch notes on that one. That must have been, I must have missed that one. That must have been like a 2.5 patch or something. One of the point patches. Yeah.
Enterprise and so on.
Thank you for the 4 years. Thank you. That's crazy. And thank you for the gift sub.
And I, as prime minister and for some time as finance minister, I just did. You know, I just liberated the economy. I just did all these reforms that allowed people to set up their own business. You have a business right now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you regulated?
Yes.
You are? Why are you regulated?
So true. So true. We shouldn't regulate any businesses. So true. I want chalk and wood in my cheese. I want to go to the store and I want to buy food off the shelves. And I want there to be no quality control because there's no regulation. Yes. Slay. It's literally this meme. Quality control in America continues to decline. A woman at a supermarket in Boston, Massachusetts, discovers this jar of pickles on the shelves. And it's got like a bug. I don't know what type of bug. I'm not a bug expert. A bug expert. But it's like, I don't know, like a grasshopper or something. Looks pretty big. Maybe like a wasp. Is big. A cricket, probably.
Now, what is that? Please tell me, what is it? Oh my God. You gotta pay attention to what we eating, people. This is crazy. Oh, well.
Pickled cricket. Yes, so true, so true. We should just gut more regulations. If you run a business, there should be no regulations. Third world country in a Gucci belt. Yeah, I like this. I want to pick up every time I pick up a jarred or canned item off the grocery store, I want there to be extra stuff in there that I can't identify. I want to get a jar of pickles that also has about 7 other items that I don't know what they are. That would be good. It's like a little gotcha. Yeah, it's like a little gotcha game. It's like, ooh, what am I gonna get? Maybe it's a cricket, maybe it's a rat. Who knows? A mystery item. Don't Gamba. No, don't post Gamba in chat.
You're regulated? By what? You should have the freedom to say whatever you want, to talk whatever you want. I didn't realize there's regulation on podcasts. Is that right?
Not anymore. Actually, since President Trump won, we've noticed all the social medias have been a lot more pro free speech.
Yeah, all right. So I'm for free markets, you know, the marketplace of goods, services.
No such thing as a free market. Oh.
Ideas. You have to have the freedom to have your ideas. This is what we have in Israel. Boy, do we have it in abundance. But that's fine. That's what I like. I like competition. I like initiative. I like freedom.
Denims, if you were a horse girl, would you be upfront charging ahead or staying cool in the pack? I would never. Well, I'd love to be at the back of the pack, but realistically, knowing that I'm a tank main, I would be leading the charge. If I was a Uma Mushme, I would definitely be. I'd be a pace setter for sure. I'd be in the front for sure.
I like freedom because I think living without freedom is not worth it. And think
Is that what you tell the Palestinians, or just like that's just you just want to say some platitudes?
of, you know, young people are watching me now. Think that every move.
They're so dumb. They don't know what regulation is. They think he means do social media companies let you be Nazis openly on their platform. It's like, also, if you run any type of business, there is always going to be regulation. Okay? Like just getting your fucking workers to sign W-2s. Like it's unavoidable. Like I don't know what you get an office that workers work in. Guess what? It needs to be up to par. You can't have workers show up like the cameraman or like the people who work on the audio. Guess what? They have to have safe working conditions. Like there always will be regulations. Always.
Move that you make, every decision you'd like to make is made by others. You remember? That's when you're little kids, right? You have the nanny state. You have the nanny that tells you what you can do.
How can you say this when you take unbelievable amounts of money from the US? Obscene amounts of money so you guys can fund your homes and your schools and your military and your healthcare. And then have the audacity to be like, I don't like the nanny state. And then pull the fucking Parks and Rec clip of, I've never done anything wrong in my life ever. More money, please.
Can't do? Not a good idea, right? That's not the kind of life you want. That's not the kind of life we have in Israel. It's a robust, free, pluralistic society compared to the darkness of Iran, the darkness of Hamas. Gays for Gaza, chickens for KFC, women for the women of Gaza. God almighty. I mean, this
gays
is
for
ridiculous.
Gaza is crazy.
No, but women.
Shut up. Shut up, Nuremberg. Shut up, Nuremberg boy. I hate you. I hate everything you stand for.
For Gaza is crazy too, because you know what the women in Gaza are? They're property. They're nothing. They have no rights. They're
Well, we know you think they're nothing. You're killing them. We already know that.
subjugated, and God forbid if you know they're executed anytime they commit a so-called offense. I mean, it's absurd. So young people who say they're progressives, people who talk about liberty, and they join with these killers and they buy these lies, and they say, you know, good is bad and bad is good. You know what they say in the Bible? Have they no eyes to see? Have no ears to hear?
I feel my life force dwindling. I feel like my soul being drained, dude. Like my mental weakening.
You know?
But
Can they be that blind? And the answer, yeah, for a while, but I guess I'll wise up.
the second part of that question, what would you say is your biggest regret?
Well, my biggest regret is that, you know, that my wife and my two boys have to suffer the slings and arrows, you know, of public life. So I chose this life. I didn't know I'd get to be prime minister, but I chose public life. But when Sarah married me, she didn't choose this. She didn't know where it would end up. My boys were born in.
Well, it's a good thing marriage is something that you can leave. And if, you know, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but if I was married to someone who was, I don't know, just like the prime minister of Bavaria, and they were just killing and sanctioning the killing of hundreds of thousands of people, I wouldn't want to be married to that person. Personally, I wouldn't want to. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong to say that. Maybe I'm woke. You know what they say, go woke, go broke. But I don't think, I don't know, maybe that's too far. Maybe that's too woke. Divorcing someone because they're actively sanctioning a genocide.
To it, more or less, you know. And they get a lot of flack, a lot of
Because they're
vilification, a lot of character assassination. That is something I regret, but I'm, you know, it's part of the journey, and it's a very painful one, frankly. What I regret in terms of conduct, you know, I became prime minister at a fairly young age, and then in Israel, I was 46, and you know, the first term, I was booted out after the first term. They put tons of money in there with foreign NGOs.
Yeah.
I spent the first 3 years in which I was prime minister basically totally on the job, and so did Sarah. And we sort of neglected our boys. And having been thrown out of office, I came back, first as finance minister, but then 10 years later, I became prime minister again. And since then,
I feel like I'm listening to Hitler describe his art career failing.
I won 5 elections. I can't keep track. But I have to get reelected. People say, "Oh, baby, you're a king." I say, "I'm not a king. King doesn't have to get reelected. I do. You know, I'm a Democrat, small d. I believe that the people have to choose who leads them, no one else." Okay, so second time I'm elected, Sarah told me, you know,
Also, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but yeah, saying small d on camera is crazy. Like, admitting it is crazy.
let's not repeat the mistake.
His voice is so annoying. I can't listen to this. Why does he sound like he's gargling peanut butter? That is a very
Our boys are going to be with us
accurate
for a few more
description.
years. And let's devote family time, you know? You know what family time is? I'm telling this to you. Maybe you have the same thing. Maybe you have young families. You will have. She said, Friday night, Shabbat dinner, you know, and lunch, nothing. No phones, no cell phones. Get rid of them. Okay. Can you imagine sitting around the table, not having cell phones? Yeah, it's a good idea. I tried sometime. Okay.
It's refreshing, right?
Yeah. And, you know, we actually have family time for a limited time.
I can't handle the bigoted people in my family, let alone if there was a genocidal maniac in my family. Can you imagine you have forced family time with your fucking genocidal father?
Younger boy who's, you know, he's an Oxford graduate, but he was sort of, you know, he was a great student of the Bible at a very early age. So we'd read a portion of the Bible, which is always relevant. It's a very good book, by the way. I strongly recommend it. I don't know if people still read it, but it's a great book. So up to the age of 12, I was teaching him. Okay, from the age of 12, he was teaching me. And this was family time. And it's because my wife had it's just the wisdom to give us those years that otherwise would go forever,
What's one thing you and President Trump have in common? Like something like
Stunning question. Incredible question. Really good. Really getting to the source of the matter. What do you and Trump have in common? Like, how do you guys spend your free time? I hate you. I hate everything you stand for. I had like no strong opinion about the Nelk Boys. Like, my opinion was very weak. It was like, I don't know, it's a podcast bros, whatever. I feel the same way that I do about every podcast bro. And this is like actually like, I went from not caring, from totally neutral to, if I was in a room, I would have to control myself to not be like, so what's it like being called the
Karl
Nuremberg
got his own
Boys?
emote. Skate parts.
Because you're obviously not quite at Nuremberg men yet. So what's that like? You guys like suck each other off afterward? Oh, we did such a good job glazing the genocidal maniac. That must be so much fun. Oh my God, that's amazing. You guys should like reestablish yourselves as like the Nelk Island Boys, since that's what you guys seem to really be interested in doing. Like I would have to play a little bit more.
specific, like a hobby or like something you both like.
That's enough. You know what? That's enough. That's actually enough. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I think that's good enough. I don't think it's gonna get better. I could be wrong. We could try and see if I have the power to watch it tomorrow, but I really don't think it's gonna get better. I think the only thing that will make it better is just smashing cinder blocks on my forehead over and over again. I think I would prefer that to asking the genocidal maniac if he has any hobbies that he shares with the president. I'm surprised you made it 40 minutes in. Hassan made it 20 before quitting. That was how do you have so like dog shit of a moral compass that you see nothing wrong in the moment with accepting an interview like this and then being given interview questions like this? How does like nothing go off in your brain where you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this? Maybe it's bad if I do this.